Hey everyone. So, as I've been going through my LinkedIn journey, I want to document exactly what has been working to this point, what hasn't been working, and how I am refining my strategy. As a very, very high level, things are starting to go really, really well. I'm getting loads of engagement. I'm actually getting people in my DMs asking for my service. So, I haven't had this for years and years and years. So, I want more of that. And I've been doing a lot of research into what's working for other people. I've been testing out a few things, and I've come up with a really good strategy, and I wanted to share it with you. So here it is, my current results. I'll flick over to LinkedIn. So I'm getting a load more impressions. This is up 32% on the previous 28 days. Similar amount of profile viewers. And profile appearances. Interestingly enough, most are coming from comments. This is really important because if you are not engaging, then you are not getting people look at your content. The other thing that's really important to understand about LinkedIn is I think it's about 5% of the user base actually creates content. The majority are lurkers. The majority don't even engage in content. Usually it's the content creators that engage in your content because they themselves are doing what I'm doing. They're engaging to broaden their reach. And that is why it's really important you choose very specifically who you are going to engage with, because effectively your content is getting pushed to their network. If their network doesn't have any relevance to you and what you do, then you're not getting the best contacts. And it's those lurkers that convert. It's those lurkers that will ping you out of nowhere, secondary connection, maybe a first degree connection, and go, can I use your service? So I'll go through quickly the content that's been working for me thus far. So this is the Clio extension. It's completely free. And what it does is enable you to go to any profile and sort what are their best posts. LinkedIn does not make it easy to do without tools like Clio. So the personal stuff is really resonating. This is a tried and tested technique, reintroduction. Something that's personal, so family photo, and then it's a bit like, okay, here's a bit about me, how did I get here, what's my path, and what can you expect from my posts. So I'm not surprised this did well, but again, it's very broad. So yes, I could find people that get to this point and go, oh yeah, I'm interested in AI, mobile apps, SaaS, so on, how to launch and scale. But likelihood is that people are just in it for the photo. And that's why you've got to be really careful with vanity metrics. Now, I understand this point that people make all the time. Likes and comments do not lead to leads. You have to have content that is bottom of funnel, that is relevant to them, that makes them want to reach out and work with you. This one was a bit closer, it's a bit further down the funnel. But the reason why it resonates is because anytime you talk about LinkedIn, not surprisingly, the people on LinkedIn resonate with it because they want to understand. I am obviously running communities for my SaaS clients to help them with their pre-sale launches and even to scale. I think it's super important that any SaaS founder really start talking with their user base, and the best place to do that is inside of a community. But this one was a little bit more generic, hence why it got more engagement. And this one as well, like if you're not talking about LinkedIn, the best thing to talk about is AI, because everyone wants to know how to utilize AI. But this didn't really bring me any decent engagement in terms of my ICP. So while it did do really well, and it's quite a new one from just a couple of days ago, so it'll probably get a little bit more engagement over the next few days, it's not exactly my ICP. This one, however, is much better. This is more bottom of funnel. It's talking exactly to the people that are launching products, and I've got my carousel here so people can learn more. And there's a little bit of a call to action here to get involved. So the people that engaged here are much more likely to be the kind of people that would become my clients. And yes, you do need a mix. I think the personal stuff is really important, but you've got to have the right mix. I think I've prioritized too much the broad stuff so I can grow, and not enough like these kind of like my AI SaaS playbook. So highly recommend that you do this review on yourself. Get Clio, go through your top posts, then kind of work out when did you receive those leads? What posts did you make that was like, okay, that's actually something that led me to a high quality prospect. So going through this in a bit more detail, we've gone through the stats. So what's working? My schedule. I'll show you my calendar. I've just gone into the future so you don't see any meetings. But these are all non-negotiables for me now. As you can see, I start early. I want to get this done at the start of my day. So no meetings come up. Nothing is going to stop me from doing this. So it's roughly about half an hour creating content, and then an hour and a half engaging. I do half an hour before I post, and then an hour after I post. That's all 5 days that I actually do. I post 5 days a week, so it's every single day I do that. And then, this is a new one, I realized to keep up with the conversations I'm having, to keep my CRM up to date, to make sure I'm following up, I need 2 hours in the middle of the day. And so suddenly my day is looking like it has a lot less to do with these random tasks that you think are important but aren't actually important. It has everything to do with moving the needle on my most important goal, which is bringing in revenue. And to do that, I need clients. To do that, I need traffic. So you can see just how important this is. And I could and there's also obviously the community engagement stuff. As I'll tell you in a minute, I have a downsell to join the free community. And so I need to also engage there to make sure that I'm pushing people through the funnel from free community to paid. And then at the weekend, I've got my hour and a half actually doing the content plans. That just makes this content creation much more efficient. If I have to ideate here, then I won't be able to do it in half an hour. I do use a few free tools like this AI carousel builder. It's pretty cool. Let me log in one sec. So I can go here to generate carousel. Usually I use Claude to build my content. And by the way, when it comes to AI, I don't publish anything without editing. In fact, I've actually pulled back from using AI. Everyone is on it. They're seeing there's comments and talk about all of the AI comments about people automating posts directly into LinkedIn without reviewing. And the AI makes mistakes. If you don't keep a human in the loop, it's going to cost your brand 100%. Even when you're in an AI related industry, you still need to be personable. But I find this, with a bit of editing, works really well. I add my content, or you could add a URL, and it generates this. This is one that I was working on, and it needs more work. So I've got to do some editing with that. Over here, we can also do a quote card generator. It's really easy. Just literally copy and paste, but again, you have templates that you can choose from. I think anything with your face in it works really well. And even if you have a bit more time doing these custom, I've seen other creators out there really benefit from having custom graphics. I've done a couple, and those posts do go better than this, but I have to weigh up, okay, this takes me 15 minutes to do some editing after I drop my content in, but on Canva it's going to take me an hour. Do I get enough engagement? Do I get extra leads? No, I don't think I do, or not enough to justify that extra 45 minutes. So that kind of talks you through my schedule that's working really well. Obviously, I said 5 days a week. I'm doing all of that engagement, and I'm getting organic inquiries now, which is amazing to see. It really gives you that buzz to keep on going. Now I'm finding that the free community, so I've done obviously a lot of research into the free group funnel. And I think that works really well, especially for YouTube, TikTok, and probably Instagram as well. For LinkedIn, I don't think it works as well. That's because LinkedIn users are trained to be in the DMs. So you don't need to pull them out of LinkedIn and into your community to have a worthwhile conversation. So I've actually changed my strategy now. I use the free group as either a way for people to grab lead magnets, rather than using a funnel landing page and a newsletter, or I use it as a downsell. Somebody's not that interested, or maybe they've coasted me, and I'll just go pop, hey, I've got these free resources in the community. Would you like access? I never send the link, like bang, here's my community. I always ask permission. And usually I get a yes, because who's going to turn down access to a free community that has free resources? They might not always go there, but they're not. Most people are nice people if you treat them right, if you don't be too salesy with them. So they're not going to just go, no, 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 no. People like to say yes, they want to say yes. The other thing I've found, so I really wanted to launch my one-to-many offer this month. I didn't have a huge amount of traffic. I tested out some ads, which I quickly closed down because they weren't working, and I didn't want to distract from the thing that was working, which is LinkedIn. You've probably seen in my content, at the moment, I'm all about the power of one. Solve one problem for one ICP and market it across one platform. So although I did give it a go, so okay to test, the moment that I felt it pulling my attention away from what really mattered, what was really working, as I stopped. And now again, I'm doubling down on LinkedIn. And I'm having these conversations where people are up for paying my $4K per month. So there's not really much point. I don't have a big enough lead flow right now to push them into the one-to-many. So I'm going to continue until I'm at capacity. And then, because my goal for the end of June is to add a minimum of $20,000 per month to my income. Once I do that, I'm going to go back and have a look at the ads, but I'm going to hire someone because I don't want to lose my focus. And the thing that I've learned more than anything is that it's the personal touch on LinkedIn that's working. It's the same in school. I did try AI comments, and sometimes I still use them. But I will now never publish anything AI generated that I haven't edited, even a comment. Even if it's just changing a few bits here and there, I will do it just to make it more human. So the shifts that I'm making at the moment. So I want to focus more on finding SaaS product founders. That's because current audience is too broad, and I'm overwhelmed with conversations. The amazing thing is I've got more conversations going in the DMs and more meetings in my calendars I've had in years, but too many are not relevant. I want to get more qualified leads, and the way to do that, I think I mentioned it before, it's to start engaging with people that are relevant to your ICP. It doesn't have to necessarily be your ICP, but other SaaS consultants, other SaaS service providers, maybe like software developers. There's a fantastic one that I found on LinkedIn who's exploding at the moment because he's an agency, but he specializes in Lovable, which is a no-code solution. So he helps founders launch. All the people that are engaging in his content are potential founders, and all of those people will need a pre-sale strategy. And Lovable, it's actually a great mix. I need to reach out to him as a potential partnership because they could build a prototype on Lovable. It doesn't have to be polished, doesn't have to be perfect, but it shows proof that they're actually doing something. Use that proof to build a community in something like school, and then launch a pre-sale to generate revenue, to get experts to refine the product, to get budget for a go-to-market strategy. It's a no-brainer. So I need to restructure the content a little bit, less of the top of funnel, more of the bottom of funnel. That's because at the moment it's driving growth, not conversion. And I want to attract clients that are ready for a pre-sale strategy. So I'll have a look at case studies, outcome focused content, so on. And so, I briefly mentioned it. Targeting strategic accounts. This could be big creators that are talking to my ICP, being one of the first to comment, that's always good. Like LinkedIn have added the new impressions on the comments, so you can see how far it goes. They've also added what I showed you before. Where do your search appearances come from? The other thing is just to actually comment, reply on other people's comments and use that as a way in to connect with them. That massively increases the conversion rate of your connections, and obviously gets you into that conversation warm. And obviously having these conversion focused conversations where we hope to actually book calls quite early on in the process. So it's a DM strategy into meetings booked, obviously into a sale, hopefully a sale. Content wise, kind of ideas that I had was like this is a good one, like breaking down what other people have done to launch. So this is a pure borrowed credibility. This is what I do. I don't have to have worked with these guys. I can just go and say, right, this is what they did. And I can do a video loom like this, talk through a Notion document at the back here, and then say, hey, do you want my full plan? Like you've seen it on the screen, just DM me, SaaS launch, and I'll provide it. And that way I can pop it in the community. They come in, grab their details, and start talking to them with a typical free to paid group funnel. So my engagement's going to stay pretty similar. I'm going to try and find an extra 30 minutes to engage with other people. So that's what I mentioned, like finding these ICPs that are on bigger accounts. So I've covered this. Then for dream clients, it's actually really hard for me to find product founders using typical LinkedIn searches. So I'm trying to find them outside, things like Product Hunt, and then go into LinkedIn and find them once I know what the company name is. And I will be pushing that forward. But yeah, I think most of them are going to come from these post engagers. So I'll be prioritizing those that engage with my content. Obviously, those that hopefully match my ICP. People that view my profile, again, this should be my ICP. I've talked about the dream clients. And the other thing that I didn't mention here is partnerships. So I want to lock in a few more partnerships with those creators on LinkedIn, and also just general providers that service my ICP, that we're not competitors. Although I would suggest that you don't have that you have a collaboration mindset, because it doesn't matter if they're a competitor. They really do have the potential of working with you, especially if they're in a different geography. Like I'm talking to a load of I'm obviously in Australia. I talk to a load of people in the UK and the US. People feel secure even if you do the exact same thing as them, but you're on the other side of the world. So have those conversations, share notes, collaborate. At very least, you can collaborate on each other's content, and that will help both of your reach. So look, I really hope this helps. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just sharing my journey. If you do have any questions, please drop it in the comment below, or reach out to me via DMs. I'm very happy to talk you through that. And if you're in my community, AI Community Builders, I'll drop a link to that as well, or you can find it through my profile. There are a load of free tools that I use that I've created. I've created GBTs for creating hooks. I've got Claude prompts because I prefer Claude. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see I did a post recently of why I think Claude is better than ChatGPT. So all of that is free in my classroom. Jump in, grab it, and if you need any help with it, just let me know. Cheers.